And going in here, Math 10 Quarter 1, Week 8 lesson plans. Let me go right into our title page here. Math 10 Quarter 1, Week 8, PowerPoint edition and video edition. Name date here, students, on your sheet. Let's go right into Week 8 lesson plans. And we start out here with our Week 8 lessons, which are 3.2 perpendicular lines, classwork homework part 1. Then 3.2 perpendicular lines constructions. We have a construction exercise here on week 8. Then we go in 3.3 angles formed by transversals, classwork homework part 1. Then we jump to 4.5 here, right equation, parallels, perpendiculars, classwork homework part 1. And 4.5 right equations for parallels and perpendiculars, classwork homework part 2. And we have a quiz, 3.2 quiz, theorems about perpendiculars part 1. And our major standard here, Common Core standard, is prove the slope criteria for parallel and perpendicular lines and use them to solve geometric problems. For example, find the equation of a line parallel or perpendicular to a given line that passes through a given point. And then we have our next Common Core here is 9 through 12, F.LE.2. Construct linear and exponential functions, including arithmetic and geometric sequences, given a graph, a description of a relationship, or two input-output pairs. Include reading these from a table. So, and then again here, CO.9, which is what we have cited before in week 7, and then we have CO.1, which you've done before in week 7. So our week 7 was kind of an intro here to week 8, and then we go in here to our learning targets, define perpendiculars, and then using corresponding same side interior theorems about angles. Again, resource materials, animated PowerPoint, classwork, homework, quiz, test, worksheets. All class worksheets are a closed exercise from PowerPoints or MP4s. Homework quizzes and test assignments available online with corrections provided after submission dates. Available in over 100 languages. Available online 24/7. Closed caption for hearing impaired. Audio for sight impaired. 139 points of classwork, 91 points in note-taking, 362 points of homework, 18 points of quiz, 0 points of tests, or total is 610 points for week 8. And then we go in here to modifications, accommodations, available online via Google Classroom interface. That is grades, classwork, homework, quizzes, tests, Zoom tutoring on request. And we go in here to 3.2 theorems about perpendicular lines. And we have a classwork here of 31 points of classwork, and then 40 points of note-taking. And then we go into 3.2 part 1 homework, which is 105 points of homework for part 1 for 3.2. And then we go into our 3.2 part 2, or rather part 1 construction, which is 16 points for the construction exercise. And then again, CO.9, proof theorems about lines and angles. And then we go in 3.2 quiz. So we have a quiz here, 18 points on our quiz for 3.2. And then we go into Chapter 3, Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. It's a review and summary for Chapter 3. And that classwork is 38 points. And then 25 points of note-taking for Chapter 3, review and summary. And then our homework for Chapter 3, review and summary is 98 points of homework for our Chapter 3 review and summary. And then going on here to week 8, we go into a kind of like borrowing from another course here when it's called 4.5 Write Equations of Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. And it is a different standard. It's FLE.2. And it's 30 points of classwork, 18 points of note-taking. And then we got Part 1 classwork, Part 1 homework, which is 89 points of homework for 4.5 Part 1. And then we go 4.5 Part 2 classwork, 24 points. For 4.5 Part 2, write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. And then we have our homework Part 2, which is 70 points of homework. Looking for here's your standard here for the 4.5 stuff. Construct linear and exponential functions, including arithmetic and geometric sequences, given a graph, a description of the relationship or two input-output pairs, including reading these from a table. And that finishes out your week 8 for Math 10 Quarter 1 MA PowerPoint Math video at AO.com. Questions, course materials. Thank you very much.